Does God exist? Does the universe exist? Is manifestation real? I'm going to tell you something. Obviously, this little podcast is not going to answer the biggest question that is on everybody's mind since the beginning of time, since we ever had consciousness. But there is something to be said for the fact that those who are most successful in business, the people that I've interviewed hundreds of seven-figure entrepreneurs. And there is something that they all had. And it was an unwavering, unshakable faith that things were going to work in their favor. So in some cases, they believed that God was keeping an eye on them. In some cases, they believed the universe was going to reciprocate the more energy they put into it. In some other cases, they thought Mother Nature had a big plan. So where does that belief fit into our lives, into our business? If you have never looked at woo in a way that would help you in business, this episode might answer some questions for you, because we are going to be talking to Rachel Luna, who is the faith woman herself. She's made over 7 figures in her business and cured herself from the most aggressive form of cancer out there. And I need you to hear her story, because this faith that she has permeates everything that she does. And it really makes me wonder, if we go out there and we are not the woo type, if we are not the God-believing type, if we're not the kind to talk to the universe about what we want, if those are not the things that are just normal in our life, are we missing out? That is the question that we're going to be answering today. Hi, my name is Ina Coveney. I am a marketing strategist and business coach and podcaster, and you are listening to the Superhumans podcast, where we interview the highest, biggest success stories out there, and we deconstruct their success. We humanize their superstardom so that you can also move into being a superhuman yourself, so that you can also live the life that you want, make as much money as you want, and live your life without regret. That's what a superhuman really is. And I can't wait for you to hear about Rachel's story. But before we dive in, I always like to add a little bit of context to everything that we're going to talk about. And there is this layer of faith that you're going to be hearing in this conversation. And the last thing that I want you to walk away from this conversation is, we're going to be talking about God or the universe or manifestation, and you're just not into it. If you are all into it, by the way, then great. Rachel is your people, and her story is going to be so inspiring. But if you are not the woo type, I wanted to give you a perspective that is going to help you really take full advantage of this interview. And that is that faith is something that we all need in order to succeed in business. And I'm going to tell you why. And by the way, that faith does not have to be religion-based. It doesn't have to be a belief in God. It doesn't have to be a belief in universe. But I kind of want to illustrate to you how just having a belief in that there's something bigger out there that has your back can help you make riskier moves, can help you actually get farther than you normally would have. And this is how I'm going to prove it to you. So let's suppose that all of this woo stuff, the universe and manifestation, none of that is real. Okay, we are going to just put a plug on that and say, hey, the authority in the matter has decided that none of that was real, that everybody else was just a sucker for believing in all that stuff. And you win, because you knew that we are just animals on earth with a really big brain, and when we die, like, that is the end of it. And in the meantime, we're just living by, logical and rational thinking with a little bit of emotion dipped in there, right? Let's suppose that that is true. If I came here to tell you that statistically speaking, your business is going to fail, that statistically speaking, your next step in your life, the next phase of your life that you've been looking forward to, is probably not going to be the way that you want it to be. Statistically speaking, things are bound to fail. Success is a pyramid where failure is at the bottom and success is at the tippy top. And that that upward movement, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Not everybody makes it to the top. Most people stay at the bottom. If I told you that, and that is statistics, this is rational, hard facts, then you might as well pack up your bags. Go back to your cushy full-time job where you were getting a steady paycheck, where you knew where your next money was coming from, and just let go of this crazy dream. Because statistically speaking, it's not going to work out. That is what we're facing when we're lacking this unshakable hope, this unshakable faith that some people have. There are some people out there who are less talented than you are, who are less experienced, who would have no business being featured or being on stage or having a podcast. They would have no business doing any of that, logically speaking. But they have something that you don't. And that is that they believe that there's somebody, some entity, the universe, Mother Nature, God, looking after them, and that there's a purpose for them having a dream inside of them. They believe that this dream that they have is not just dollars and cents. It's not just hard evidence-based. They know that this is coming from somewhere, and they need to act on it. So what happens when people like that? They jump in the deep end. You know what they do? They do things that other people who are a little bit more logical, more pragmatic in thought would never do. Because it would sound crazy, because it has a very low chance of success. But they do it because they don't care that there is a small chance of success. They care that they have to do it. And they have this impossible hope filling their entire body, and they have to. This is something they need to do. I have hosted, 7 podcasts at this point. I feel like I counted them at some point. 7 podcasts. None of them have hit 1 million downloads yet. But here I am. I keep doing it. What if I had done my first podcast? I tried it. I interviewed people. I practiced it. It was good, but it didn't make me money. It didn't make 1 million downloads. So I just looked at the facts, looked at the cold hard facts, and I said, that didn't work. Let's do something else. What if that was the case? Then you wouldn't be listening to this right now. And when I do reach 1 million downloads, and when this podcast does reach so many more people out there to inspire them, to get them to take action on their next step, like once this podcast makes it there, I'm going to be out there telling the New York Times of all the times that I didn't quit. And I didn't quit not because logic was telling me that I shouldn't quit. Logic was telling me that I should have quit a long time ago. But I have this unwavering, unshakable faith that things are going to work out. Because if the dream is in me, it is for me. Because if somebody, God, the universe, Mother Nature, put this dream inside of me, there's a reason for it. And there is nothing I can do. Nothing I can do. I have to go after the dream. That is all I have. Is I just have to chase after it. So when next time that you think that you're doing something that doesn't seem realistic, right? Next time that somebody tells you, hey, by the way, your business is most likely going to fail. By the way, you are probably going to invest tens of thousands of dollars on coaching programs, courses, and not see anything out of it. You're going to hear that a lot. You're going to experience that. But the only way to keep going is to have that unwavering, unshakable faith and hope that you are here for a reason. And that is what people of faith have over people who believe that faith is not real. People who call themselves pragmatic, realistic, looking at the hard facts. That's what they have on them. It's the ability to look at their future and say, I have no idea what that looks like, but I know that I'm doing all the right things to make it to exactly where I need to be. And it makes them less angry about it. right? Because they know that there's a grander plan. So there are so many benefits to having faith and so few benefits to not, that it makes you really think, which side do you want to be on? So if you are one of those super pragmatic people, super realistic, always looking at the hard facts, always pivoting based on what you see, it has nothing to do with some invisible being out there. Like, if that's you, I want you to know that faith doesn't look the same for everybody. It might just look differently for you. You may not get your faith from a God entity. Where do you get it from? Where is your faith coming from? What keeps you going day by day when things are not working out? When things don't seem realistic for you? Where are you drawing that faith from? Once you answer that question, you'll realize that you're way more spiritual than you thought you were. And it has nothing to do with scented candles, oils, or crystals. It's all inside. So I am so delighted to introduce you to a woman of faith who has taken that faith and turned it into her biggest weapon in her business. The one that she used to cure herself from her cancer. The one that she used to publish her book against all odds. The one that got her to be featured on the Today Show, when someone like her, with her background, with her upbringing, would have never even imagined that's where she would be. All of that came from the same place, and it was her unwavering faith. That's why I'm so delighted to introduce you to Rachel Luna. Rachel Luna is a certified master neuroscience and life coach, international speaker, and host of the top-rated podcast, Permission to Offend, recognized by Forbes as one of the top 11 inspiring female entrepreneurs to follow on Instagram at Girl Confident. The links are below. Her work has been featured in Success, Latina, Huffington Post, and Lifetime TV. A U.S. Marine Corps veteran with a tour in Iraq, Rachel brings grit, resilience, and tenacity to her coaching. She has helped over 3,000 women achieve clarity, confidence, and business growth, with many clients crossing into 6- and 7-figure success. Despite personal hardships, including the loss of both her parents to AIDS and a battle with triple-negative breast cancer, Rachel's faith and determination have shaped her into a powerful, uplifting force. She inspires global audiences through her speaking tours, workshops, and podcasts, empowering others to overcome challenges and embrace their true potential. So, without further ado, I give you Rachel Luna. If you're watching on YouTube, all you have to do is click right here to go straight to the interview. If you're listening on the podcast, this interview begins now.